Namaste, namaskar. Hello, everyone. So our group topic this afternoon is about social role valorization. I'm Leine. So in this presentation, we will address each of the following: an introduction into our theory with a brief description of social role valorization and the history behind how it was created, the origin of who created the theory and why, a dive into what led to creating social role valorization, how can social role valorization help with working alongside Tangata Vayora, and the last is our understanding of this theory.
My name is, just to introduce myself, it's Teatakura, Clark with an E, but you can call me TK obviously. My name is Leine, part of the group of Social Valorization. You all know me. And before I go to the next slide, I just want a show of hands to see who even knows what social role valorization is. Anyone? Like, if I haven't already discussed it with you. No one? Okay, cool. So this should be interesting for us all then, eh? So, social role valorization, it is a theory that is designed to enhance the status of those that are undervalued in society. But I'll give you guys more of an explanation, I suppose. I really shouldn't say that, so, as I said, it's a theory that is designed to help enhance the lives that are set apart by their differences in today's society. Individuals above the margin or who present normal, as in like today's normal standard of what that looks like. It may look like that to different to everybody. But those people are the ones who experience a better quality of life based on this theory. And prior to this, I never knew what social role valorization was, or I did in a sense. I just didn't know that it had a title. Like, I feel like every single one of us here have experienced this theory one part in our lives or another. So it was just designed to help improve lives. Awesome. So a history of social role valorization. In 1983, SRV, which has been condensed for social valorization, was formed by Wolfensberger, the pioneer of this theory. He developed as a successor to the earlier principle of normalization in human resources, promoting social role valorization between North America, England, France, and Australasia. The concept of social role valorization was developed by him and his associates at the Training Institute for Human Service Planning, Leadership, and Change Agency. The discovery included continuous reviewing and refining of the principle of normalization, which he embraced and enacted as soon as it emerged. Since its introduction in 1969, numerous publications have explored and disseminated ideas related to normalization. In 1983, Wolfensberger and Thomas expanded its depth, unifying educational and training materials that strengthen literacy on the topic. Over time, this evolving thought process led to the transition from normalization, as I mentioned before, to social role valorization, highlighting a broader framework for promoting dignity and value, society roles for marginalized individuals.
So, as you can see, that's Wolfensberg, who was introduced the whole a German-American born in the year 1934, and he died in 1911. He studied at St. Louis University and obtained a PhD in psychology. His early works, known as the principle of normalization in human resources, was created was created to help those disabilities to be able to live a normal life with a normal routine, the same as someone without disabilities. He used the example of Nazi death camps, and now they would, how they would specifically target people with disabilities and their practices with contributing to the higher death toll. Wolfsberger ideas change the behavior within the society towards those with disabilities, and because of this created environmental changes. His work remains to have a lasting impact, in the disability field in views of rights amongst individuals with disabilities.
Before social role valorization. So between 1933, 1945, 44,000 concentration camps were created. The first camp established in March 1933 that housed individuals of communists and social political groups. These camps targeted a variety of people who were labelled enemies. Thus, this became the standard of dehumanization. So during the Nazi chapter, German authorities imprisoned groups in concentration camps under the control where protection wasn't serviced from the government. These groups were individuals who were accepted within the ideal-shaped world. Nazi ideology then placed individuals in social groups and labelled them as internal enemies, who they deemed threatened their vision of a unified community. A bit like what social valorization enables to fix. Concentration camps then were used to isolate groups away from their national community in hopes that fear and intimidation would secure equality amongst them and for generations to come, based on the history they succeeded in this. They used methods to control them with forced sterilization to mass murder. People chosen for these groups were those with disabilities, prisoners, sexual orientation, as well as religion and cultural differences. This became an example of how they manipulated people to justify the means for violence and control. Because of these acts, created theories like normalization and social role valorization were designed to support those who suffered these events and became survivors and those who remain wounded.
So now we're just going to explain to you guys how it translates for us, what it means for us, and how that looks for us. So my understanding of social role valorization, I really only have one thing that I can apply it to, which is my ethnicity. Due to just being, which might be a little bit controversial, due to just being Māori, straight away, as soon as I'm born, it's already 10 times harder for me to be as successful as someone who isn't Māori. Now for me, that's my only deficit, I want to say. I have a different understanding of it because I view it as a deficit model, is what I like to call it, because it's already viewing us, or people who are under the margin, as a deficit, and like labeling them, putting them in groups already, which the theory itself is supposed to enhance lives. But yeah, that's how I took it. I suppose though, that even though just because I am Māori, I see that personally for me, that it's one of my biggest advantages in life. Like I am so proud to be Māori. That's me.
And my understanding of social valorization. We've given you the description of what it means, but how do we break it down? Social, as you all know, can be grouped together. Role, position, valorization, a term that's used to help those who are devalued. SRV was a condensed way of saying the meaning, suggests that people should have important social roles to have a good life. But this becomes difficult for those with disabilities, as this issue complicates the use of finding roles that can be accepted as a member of their society. So in today's modern world, social role valorization is addressed to the needs of diversified groups that the theory advocates for, alongside resources to enhance the importance of supporting different communities with empowering marginalised individuals. As everyone is different, SRV aims to end role valorizing.
And my understanding is to enable devalued people to experience the good things in life by proving their social roles as social role valorization, social science being applied, and to address the groups who are being devalued in society. To wrap it around, it's how you value people. Thank you.
So we wrote down some things as to how it can be applied in the workplace or tangata whaiora. One was, advocating for them, helping them to build connections with others, education between communities, as in, helping them to understand and be more culturally aware, empowering them, and setting them up with the right resources or putting them in the right direction to where they can hopefully empower themselves. And yeah,
I'll just add a few notes onto that. With that, by educating for them, because they are affected by acceptance from their communities as well as their family, recognising and placing awareness by inserting support as advocating can reduce barriers and promote opportunities for future employment and training incentive providers. With their assistance, resources can help reduce discrimination, promote awareness, as I've said, for change, as the goal of social role valorization is for tangata whaiora to take control of their lives and feel supported and connected with society. And our next one is just a little video. So within this video, it pretty much promotes unity, as every group, whether it's racism, differences of religion, sexual orientation, images created into a group where they all are the same, whereas it's not equity and equality, it's more focused on equality of what benefits them despite the disadvantages of life. Because like it says underneath, we are all the same.
Yeah, so just to add more to that, once the video, is that still, yeah, it's just all the time. Just to tell you who it's relevant to, is, people with less money, different ethnic groups, the LGBTQIA plus community, elderly, prisoners, disabled people. But I do want to ask a question. to see if you guys are all listening. Who else do you guys think in this theory could apply to? Anybody? Yeah, don't all volunteer at once. Yes, over here, my man.
I think in some way, everybody is somewhat can be fall under this theory category. It depends on how one may view them.
Exactly.
We cannot change how a person sees things, and so that will forever be. It can apply to anybody actually.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I look at it too. Because like how I said in the start, is a normal standard. But today in this generation, what really is normal? You know. Anybody else? No. Okay.
Yeah, like you said, everyone in this room, this applies to, whether it's colour, race, disabilities, everyone feels the same. It is normal human behaviour to look at a certain group and judge. It's normal. We've been taught this from the get-go. You go in the supermarket, you've got different brands, value, own brands. Everyone will look what looks the best, they'll take that off the shelf. That's a clear example of what this is trying to change. And how this progresses is with us. We continue it, we create the change with the steady process and progress.
Period.
Yeah. And, oh, no. I mean, that's what this is.
Yeah. One more question, sorry, before we end. Like, and you guys can win a free Kendrick, by the way. When and what year, what was it, was the theory formulated?
1994.
Nah, sorry.
36.
No, sorry.
Is it 36?
No, I'll say it's in the 80s. 1980s.
94.
88.
No, that's not what it is.
I'll give you a clue.
Eight.
It starts with 19.
No, I said that. 198. 19 something. 198. What is it? 8?
33.
It's 1983. There's theory. That doesn't go to you though, because I felt like there was a guess.
You've already had my name.
Yeah, but that's us. Thank you guys.
Thank you.